Calderossi's Dogfight is a game in the same vein, the same philosophy as Caesar and Blitzkrieg by the same designer, and the idea is to give you complex historical events or history-based wargaming at a very small cost in terms of rules and times and commitment. And so this is a dogfight that you can play in 20 minutes, which is impressive, but of course I played World War II in 20 minutes using the same game system, so that was even more impressive. Anyhow, Dogfight is a game for 2 players. It comes with a solitaire option. I'll let you explore that if you're interested, because this game is so much about guessing and outguessing and bluffing that I don't feel a strong need to play the game solo against a bot that I cannot possibly trick my human opponent. So, and also the game can be played in different variants. I'm gonna tell you about the basic game, then I'm gonna mention the advanced scenarios that you're gonna have that bring more replay value or variety to the game. The basic idea in the basic game is that you have an aircraft and so does your human opponent, and you'll be flying around trying to shoot each other down. You play up to 3 rounds. Each round is 5 turns, so up to 15 turns total. And but it can be less if you shoot down your opponent. If at the end of the game neither has shot down their opponent, then the winner is the player that had inflicted most hits on the opponent. If it's a tie, the game is a draw. So you're gonna have these cute wooden airplanes on the board to mark the position of your aircraft, and each aircraft is connected to a card that indicates the capabilities of that aircraft. Blue and red are the basic ones recommended when you start playing the game, and then you have a pretty good variety of different models that do play differently. To move, for example, you will need to play movement tokens, and you can see there are different combinations of how much they have of each kind, and also where these bursts are. And as you can imagine, the bursts will be needed to fire at the opponent. They work in different ways. Also, they may have special abilities indicated here, or limitations to make up for the fact that their standard capabilities may be very good. So it's very neat that you can mix and match. But again, I'm gonna play the basic game, and so I'm gonna put that one there. You also see a number of boxes there. That is where you place the hits every time you receive one. And so when you would place a hit cube in the last box, I think you guessed it, that's when you are shut down and you lose the game. Then we have movement tokens. They are placed in this bag here, very similar to bags that I've seen in the bag that you find, for example, in Blitzkrieg. And at the beginning of the game, you will draw 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and place them in front of you behind your screen, because the opponent shouldn't see what you have or what you're gonna, what you will be able to do next. Now, of course, this is public information, so after round 1, and sometimes even during round 1, you get a sense of what the opponent may still have based on what they used. But still, some secrecy. I'm probably not going to keep the screen here because you got the idea. Also, the screen gives you a reminder of the abilities of the advanced aircraft. So we're going to have these tokens, and gameplay super simple. Each player selects a chit, a movement chit simultaneously, and then we reveal them, and then we move by that amount of spots on the board. And so, for example, I set it a 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, I go there. It's totally okay if the aircraft end in the same space, but suppose that my opponent played a 1. Oh, now they're in a bad position. After both movement chits have been resolved, you see if one of you can shoot at the other. You can hit your opponent if you're behind them by 1, 2, or 3 spots, if there are bursts on the movement token that you play, and if the spaces that you're in share a color. For example, these two share white, so actually I can hit the opponent, and because that is the number of bursts that I have there, they take 2. damage that it would put on their aircraft. Because suppose that this is the situation, the distance is 2, but the two spaces don't share a color, it's green and white and purple. And so just this, my opponent just exit the curve, and so I don't have a line of sight, I don't have a straight shot. You may have noticed that there are these loops here. Again, usually you will move on the outside track. However, the movement chit that shows a 3 is double-sided. Well, they all are. But the other ones, the sides are the same. As opposed to this one, there is a straight line on one side and a looping line on the other. When you put it down, you select the side that goes up, and then you're committed. So, for example, if I place the 3 loopy, then when I get here, 1, 2, 3, I enter the loop. And it's totally okay. Suppose that I started there. It's totally okay to go 1, 2, 3, so to end on the loop. But you're committed. If you place a loop and you can do a loop, then you gotta do the loop straight. It means you cannot take that loop. And of course the idea is that, well, I'm thinking that my opponent is trying to overtake me, so I want to do maybe 1, 2, and 3 because I was hoping that they would do that. But maybe the opponent has stalled, some aircraft have a 0, so now I'm in trouble. So you can see the point is precisely to try to maneuver and outmaneuver. But again, the game is simplicity itself. Choose a movement chit, reveal it, resolve the movement, see if people are in the position. One of you is in the position of hitting the other, apply the hits and see if that ends the game or not. This is a standard game in which you are just trying to shoot them down. We have other missions. We have a mission in which one player will be taking pictures on the ground. In these missions, that are the advanced missions, every time one player will be trying to complete the mission, that's their job, and they have unique objectives, and the other player is trying to shoot them down. So it's always like a mission player and a defend player. And so you need to stop here, slow down, and take pictures. We have a rescue mission in which you're picking up people from the ground. We have bombing mission in which you're, well, I think you guessed it. We have an escort mission in which you're trying to escort a friendly aircraft in trouble. So that brings some variety to the mix. But still, in general, this is how you play Dogfight. Dogfight is a fun, light filler. Blitzkrieg, same line, same philosophy, had a lot more that it achieved within 20 minutes and very simple rules such as, select a chit and play it. This one is a lot more basic, especially when we're talking about the basic game. It's an interesting guessing game. It's a little somewhat magnified version of rock, paper, scissors, but with airplanes, with good components. And again, there is more strategy there. In particular, in the fact that you do not refill your hand with tiles every time that you play one. So you start with 6 chits, and in round 1 you will play 5. That is when then you draw more, and so you start round 2 with 6 again. And so, and then round 3 with 5 only. So there are windows of opportunities that come and go at the beginning of the round. You feel like you have a lot of opportunities, and then you have to plan for the fact that they become narrower and narrower, as at the end you just have a lot fewer options. So that cycle of decision, that's fun, that's interesting. That to me is one actually the most interesting things. But again, it is all in the mind game. It is all in trying to read the opponent and that. And in that, I found really fun moments, fun situations. So basically, I do like the basic game, and I like to try different aircraft because they do work in different ways, from the one that is faster, the one that can stall, and then start slowly, the one that can stall, and then start flying again, but it's particularly brittle, and so on and so forth. A lot of interesting things there surrounded the basic game. Now, after playing the basic game, I was very excited to try the advanced game, and I thought that's going to be even better. That will elevate the situation. it does bring variety, but there's a weird paradox that they found in the scenarios, in the advanced things such as bombing, such as taking pictures, which is it creates replay value. The gameplay is different. But I found it less interesting because I found that it narrows your possibilities for decision. Meaning, when you're trying to accomplish a mission, you don't have a lot of time. You only have, in the best case scenario, 15 action, 15 movements, and maybe one movement or two you'll use not to get shot and destroyed. The other movements you'll use mainly to try to achieve those objectives, to stop in that location at that time. And that's a problem from the point of view of engagement, because you simply, well, I need to get that objective now. You can literally count the spaces and count the tokens that you still have and know, if I don't stop, I just don't have. I don't have enough chits to pass a couple of times and then find the right time. And again, somehow that to me makes the strategy of the person who's completing the mission more limited. You can bluff less. You have less flexibility because you're going to lose by failing to complete the mission instead of losing because you get shot down. Interesting enough, the game still feels balanced. It just feels less interesting, especially as the mission player. As the defenders are the more interesting because you're trying to guess what they're going to do. What are they going to do until you realize, well, they have to take it now or the game is over, so I know they're going to be on that spot. So there is this weird paradox that the advanced missions to me are a little less interesting. However, if you only play the base game without those, it's going to start feeling samey after a while. And yet, at least to me, that is the game that I like better, that I like best, which is the basic game, just dogfighting. Then I have a lot of options. Then I have a lot of decisions I can make. I can even just delay. That's fine. If I am one hit ahead of you, then I don't have to take you down. The game is more flexible that way. So in sum, Dogfight is a nice little filler, which I enjoy for its basic dogfighting element. I think the replay value is limited. You're probably not going to have an epic evening where you play it 15 times. But a game to pull out of the shelf as a filler to play from time to time, then it seems interesting. Then I think that's going to work for me. Not so much for the missions because, as I said, although they're thematically interesting, I found the gameplay to be a little more limiting.